Hi there, welcome to SugarTube TV, brought to you by Sugar Daddy Theatre Company. This is Actors on Acting. My name is Leon, and today we're going to be talking a little bit more about improvisation. So let's just recap about what we talked about last time, and that was always say yes. Don't block by saying no. Always accept your partner's offers and expand on them. We also talked about creating strong characters, strong relationships, and creating beautiful and interesting environments. And the third thing we talked about last time was always listening, being present 100% in the moment and listening with your ears, your eyes, and all your senses. Today we're going to talk about some of the things that get in the way of our improv and stop us from being as creative as we want to be and stop our scenes from developing and growing into beautiful, interesting, lovely, wonderful scenes. The first thing I want to talk about is holding on to your agendas. We always need to be willing to let go as improvisers. Sometimes we have a wonderful idea, we go on stage, we start setting up a beautiful laboratory, and we're going to be this nutty professor who is going to do some sort of experiment. But before we can actually get there, we set up the laboratory, and another actor walks on and goes, excuse me, officer, but we discovered the point of entry where the thieves came in, and now suddenly you're a police officer in a laboratory that's been broken into, and you have to immediately drop your idea of the nutty professor. So these kind of things happen all the time in improv. We have ideas, we bring things on, and things change. You have to be willing to let them go, otherwise you're going to end up blocking and stopping the scene from being beautiful and wonderful. Then the next thing that I wanted to talk about was always go with your first impulse, your first instinct. Don't judge yourself. As improvisers, as actors, as people, we are always second guessing ourselves. We want to say something and then we think, no, that's not interesting enough, that's boring, something else will be better, people aren't going to like that, and that's putting you in your head, it's taking you out of the creative process. So always just go with your first impulse. No matter how mundane or dull or boring it may seem, it's not. Keith Johnston, the sort of father of improv, a Canadian improvisation teacher, has written many books, created and invented theatre sports, always said that just go with your first thought. He said he often gives actors an exercise. He says there's a box in front of you, open the box and tell me what you see inside. And people open the box and they're about to say something and then they go into their head and then they come up with something else. And then he stops them and he says, okay, what was the very first thing you wanted to say? And they would say, well, I was going to say apple. And then he said, but you said rocket ship. Why did you do that? And they said, well, I didn't think apple was interesting enough. But apple is interesting enough. No offer is boring. So just always go with that first instinctive offer. You know, you say to your partner, look, there's an apple in the box, and they go, wow, that's not just any apple. That's the apple that Noah brought and put on Mount Sinai, and it grew into a beautiful magical apple tree, and this is one of those apples from that tree. So suddenly you're on, you've on Mount Sinai, and you've got a magical apple that goes back to biblical times. So that boring apple's not so boring after all, is it? So those are just a few things to think about. Tune in next time when we will go into improv a little bit more. This is Leon from Actors on Acting. Goodbye.